on WION.
You have to play good cricket over a period of time.
I should push myself right out of the damn tournament.
We go beyond the stats. Our stories are quoted the world over.
At WION, sport is part of our DNA. Come, join us on this journey. Weekdays 6:30 p.m. IST, 1 p.m. GMT.
WION, India's global voice. The channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION. World is one.
To bring the benefits of the Subhash Chandra Show to your educational institution, teachers and students, send an invitation to Juhi Jha at juhi@such.org.in.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening. As we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch. WION, India's global voice. The channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION. World is one.
To bring the benefits of the Subhash Chandra Show to your educational institution, teachers and students, send an invitation to Juhi Jha at juhi@such.org.in.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening. As we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
Welcome to another episode of World of Africa on WION World is One. I'm Eric Njoka. This week we tell you about a surprise that many South Africans did not expect. The winters are here. Plus, do you know what food fortification is all about and entails? We'll explain that to you shortly. Find out how cubes are curbing malnutrition in West Africa. Thank you for joining us. Ghana, one of Africa's most stable democracies, is headed for general elections in December. But the main opposition party was out on the streets protesting what they claim to be voter roll irregularities. So, what is this election all about? Who are the candidates and the issues? Let's find out in our cover report from Accra.
Ghana's Electoral Commission has published a list of 13 candidates approved to run in the presidential election. Analysts say the polls will be a two-man race between Vice President Mahamudu Bawumia and former President John Dramani Mahama. Voters in the West African gold and cocoa producing nation head to the polls on December 7th to elect a successor to President Nana Akufo-Addo. He will step down in January after serving the constitutionally mandated 8 years. Former President Mahama represents the main opposition National Democratic Congress (NDC) party. 60-year-old Bawumia, who is an economist and former central banker, has been picked by Akufo-Addo's ruling New Patriotic Party as its candidate.
Your vote on December 7th will end the tyranny, it will end the cronyism, it will end the corruption, it will end the hardship.
I want to build a program where we apply digital technology, STEM, robotics, and artificial intelligence for the transformation of agriculture, healthcare, education, manufacturing, fintech, and public services delivery.
Some candidates from northern Ghana, including Bernard Morna from an opposition party and Janet Nabla, an independent candidate, did not appear on the list. Ghana's main opposition party held a protest to pressure the Electoral Commission into conducting a forensic audit of the electoral roll as soon as possible. The NDC, or National Democratic Congress, accused the Electoral Commission of tampering with the voter registry to favor the ruling New Patriotic Party, raising tensions 3 months before the December presidential elections.
December 7th, when I go to my polling station and I show my voter's ID, they will not tell me that my name is not in that particular polling station, but my name is elsewhere, somewhere in Dodowa. And that I should go to Dodowa and go and vote there. That is the reason why we are calling for a forensic audit, because everything has shown, and including the EC official who went to TV3 the last time, your sister station, and also admitted all these abnormalities.
Ghana needs peace. Ghana is the gateway to Africa. Why is the EC merging with the current leadership to just rob Ghanaians of what they want? The voice of the people is the voice of the Lord. They should be careful. We have only one Ghana. Whatever happens, they also have family members within this country. So they should be very careful.
A July survey by Pan-African research group Afrobarometer showed that trust in Ghana's Electoral Commission was at a historic low since confidence polls started in 1999. Ghana is often described as a beacon of democracy in West Africa, a region beset with coups and political instability. The National Peace Council, or the NPC, a body that promotes the importance of peaceful elections, wants Ghanaian political parties to commit to a set of agreed principles. However, the NDC has refused to consent to the agreements this year, leaving many concerned about the December vote. Ghana recorded 8 deaths during the 2020 election, despite all parties signing a peace pact. There are fears of increased electoral violence ahead of the December election, as the main opposition party has refused to sign the peace deal. Africa Bureau, WION, World is One.
Sudan's army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces say they are open for peaceful solutions to a war that has been ongoing for more than 17 months in response to US President Joe Biden's call on warring parties to re-engage in talks. Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, the Sudanese government remains open to all constructive efforts aimed at ending the war before RSF leader Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo followed suit with a similar statement and sentiment. Here's a report.
Sudan's warring parties have said they are open to peaceful solutions to end their more than 17-month-old conflict. They said that in response to US President Joe Biden's call for re-engagement in talks. Sudan's army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces had shared power after staging a coup. But in April last year, competition between the two erupted into open warfare. More than 12,000 people have been killed. On Wednesday, Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan said the Sudanese government remains open to all constructive efforts aimed at ending the war. Early on Thursday, RSF leader Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo followed suit. He said the RSF confirmed its commitment to ceasefire negotiations and said it believes the path to peace is through dialogue. Both men traded blame, however, for failing to end the conflict. They have not outlined specific steps towards peace.
To allow humanitarian assistance to get to people who need it.
On Wednesday, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken said progress in relation to the conflict was being hampered by an assault by the RSF on the North Darfur city of Al Fasher,
already resulting in the deaths and displacement of thousands of vulnerable people.
He also said Sudan's army needs to halt indiscriminate bombing. The violence has created what Blinken described as the world's worst humanitarian crisis and has wrecked Sudan's economy and infrastructure. A UN fact-finding mission said earlier this month that both sides have committed abuses that may amount to war crimes.
Nutrition experts have stated that biofortified foods are now a promising way to reduce malnutrition in Nigeria by roughly 30%, especially in regions with high malnutrition prevalence. While expressing concerns over the rise in cost of a healthy diet in the country, the food experts noted that biofortified crops have the potential to lead to significant reductions in micronutrient deficiencies in the country and in the region.
Authorities in Nigeria launched a code of standards for adding 4 micronutrients, iron, zinc, folic acid and vitamin B12 to bouillon or stock cubes at levels advised by experts in order to achieve large-scale food fortification to combat malnutrition. The small blocks of concentrated seasoning used to flavor soups and stews are universally consumed in many African countries, with nearly 100% household penetration in nations like Nigeria, Senegal, Ivory Coast and Cameroon.
The fortified bouillon cubes that they have promised to release to the market, it will be a huge advantage for the poor like us who cannot afford basic proteins.
Make them the most cost-effective way to reach millions, particularly those at the bottom, worst hit by malnutrition, with minerals and vitamins. Bello, forced to retire from public service due to weakening health, has had to cope with less preferred foods and limited portion size, a common pattern among many Nigerian households.
Those protein-rich meals like fish, meat are very expensive in the market and hard to find, and when we eventually find them, they are too pricey for one to afford because of the cost of transporting it to the market.
Food fortification is not new in Nigeria. Most of the salt consumed in the country is iodized, and other items such as wheat flour, edible oil and sugar are fortified with vitamin A by law. But fortification of bouillon with 4 vitamins and minerals is the most comprehensive fortification regulation to date.
It's really very important because as of today, we have micronutrient deficiencies in Nigeria, what we call hidden hunger. So one strategic approach to addressing this is through adding these micronutrients to the food that they eat.
According to the Gates Foundation, large-scale food fortification unlocks a new way to increase micronutrients in the food staples of low-income countries to create resilience for vulnerable families. Africa Bureau, WION World is One.
Kenyan President William Ruto, on a visit to Haiti, said that he was open to Kenya's anti-gang mission in the country being converted to a full United Nations peacekeeping operation. Ruto visited Haiti to assess the progress of the multinational security support mission, where Kenya is playing a leading role to curb rampant gang violence that has ushered years of political chaos and mass displacement.
Kenyan President William Ruto made a surprise stop in violence-plagued Haiti to assess the progress of the multinational security support mission. Ruto made the UN-announced trip while returning from Germany. Kenya is playing a leading role in curbing rampant gang violence that has ushered years of political chaos and mass displacement. When the Kenyan leader touched down, as a way to encourage and boost the morale of the troops, he broke into praise songs, which was followed by this prayer.
We pray, Heavenly Father, over this land of Haiti. We pray for the children, the men and women, the government of this land. As we participate in a small way as agents of peace, we want to pray, Heavenly Father, that you, the author of peace, shall bring peace and stability to this country.
The mandate of the MSS mission, first approved by the United Nations Security Council for 12 months, is set to expire at the start of October. In early September, the Council began considering a draft resolution to extend the MSS mandate and ask the UN to plan for it to become a formal peacekeeping mission. The United States and Ecuador circulated a draft text that would renew the MSS mandate for another 12 months and asked the UN to begin planning to transition the MSS mission to a UN peacekeeping operation in order to sustain the gains made by the MSS mission. President Ruto asserts he is open to Kenya's anti-gang fighting mission in the country being converted to a UN peacekeeping operation.
There are many people who thought this Haiti was mission impossible. But today they have changed their mind because of the progress you have made in collaboration with Haitian National Police. On the suggestion to transit this into a fully UN peacekeeping mission, we have absolutely no problem if that is the direction the UN Security Council want to take it.
The 15-member council is due to vote on September 30th on the mandate renewal. After the Security Council approved the MSS mission, Kenya sent about 400 police officers to Port-au-Prince in June and July from an expected total of 1,000. A handful of other countries have together pledged at least 1,900 more troops. However, the efficacy of the mission has been criticized amid delays in deployments of manpower and vital equipment needed to fight powerful gangs. The United Nations expert on human rights in Haiti said that the situation has worsened, with now about 700,000 people internally displaced. Africa Bureau, WION World is One.
World Rhino Day was observed on the 22nd of September. Across all 5 rhino species, there are fewer than 28,000 individuals left worldwide, the latest State of the Rhino report revealed. Rhino poaching in Africa increased by 4% from 2022 to 2023. At least 586 African rhinos were poached last year. They face a myriad of threats, including habitat loss. But poaching remains the biggest threat, mainly due to the belief that rhino horns possess medicinal properties.
It was a first for such an operation. In September last year, Professor Thomas Hildebrand from the Biorescue Project performed the transfer of a southern white rhino embryo into a surrogate mother. But the day was not historic for the southern white rhino, which has a population of roughly 20,000. It was a great day for another subspecies, the northern white rhino, population 2. The transfer of an embryo was a test to see whether it was possible to create a lab-made embryo and implant it into a similar rhino.
We are here today with 33 embryos. We have a lot of embryos available, and we estimate that we can produce about 10 to 15 babies. Our main goal, and this is probably not something that I personally will be around for, is that in 20 to 25 years, the first animal can be released again in Central Africa.
Unser großes Ziel ist,
The northern white rhino subspecies is technically extinct with only 2 females remaining. Scientists now hope to preserve the northern white rhino subspecies using stored semen from Sudan and other dead rhinos, as well as the perfection of in vitro fertilization techniques. Earlier this year, researchers said a less endangered southern white rhino was impregnated through embryo transfer in the first successful use of the method. Philip Muruthi, Vice President for Species Conservation at the African Wildlife Foundation, says rhinos are of cultural, social and economic benefit to Africa. Muruthi highlights Kenya's success story of being able to grow its rhino population from just 380 in 1986 to 1,000. He attributes that success largely to protective sanctuaries.
Economically, rhinos are amongst the biggest attractors of tourists. They are the big five, amongst the big five. There are also reasons, social and cultural, why we want to maintain rhinos. Can you imagine an Africa without rhinos? Can you imagine an Africa where we are telling our children, oh, you know, we used to have this big animal, this is the picture. What a shame. Our generation should really be looking at why we have borrowed these rhinos from the future generation.
At Kenya's All Pejeta Conservancy in Nanyuki, the last 2 northern white rhinos technically extinct, but the caretakers at the sanctuary are hopeful of a renaissance for the subspecies. Zakaria Mutai has been a ranger for 21 years and has been the primary caretaker of the last male northern white rhino named Sudan. He's happy on this global day set aside to celebrate the beasts.
I wake up every morning to take care of these animals. I look after them like my own family. The subspecies only exists here and I am very happy to see them every day. I ensure they get water and food and I am very proud of my work. I love it.
The body of the last male northern white rhino named Sudan that died in 2018 has been preserved and displayed at the museums of Kenya in Nairobi. A research scientist and curator of mammals at the museum said preserving Sudan will tell the story of how the species lived among humans and why conservation is important. Africa Bureau, WION World is One.
South Africa has been hit by an unusual weather phenomenon, heavy snowfall, which has caused a mixed reaction among the local population. On the one hand, the elements have paralyzed traffic on the main highways, leaving many motorists trapped in their cars. However, despite the difficulties that arose, many residents greeted the snowfall with enthusiasm. Snowmen appeared on the streets, and some daredevils even tried to master skiing. Resourceful South Africans also found a practical use for snowdrifts, using them as natural refrigerators for their drinks.
We actually drove from Johannesburg to this spot to come and see the snow. So it was a 3-hour drive, but we're really excited. It's been many years since we saw snow, and it's phenomenal.
I thought we were going to make a small little snowman, because usually if we do get a bit of snow, it's just a little tad. But yeah, now we've actually managed to build a proper one.
Absolutely amazing. It's just something we never see, and my husband and I have seen it before, but it was just so exciting to bring the kids and let them just feel it, and just the excitement of driving past. Oh, mommy, there's white, and yeah, so it's really exciting.
Thanks for watching this week's episode of World of Africa on WION World is One. Get in touch with us on all our social media platforms and our website and tell us more about the show there. I'm Eric Njoka, and until next time, it's goodbye from me.
Know more, understand better, think ahead. Hello and a very warm welcome. You are watching Gravitas with me, Molly Gambhir. Get the facts, not the bombast. On the 26th of March, dynamic pricing, Baloch separatists, Gravitas cuts out the clutter. Gravitas keeps calm when others scream. Gravitas brings news to life. Weekdays, 9 p.m. IST, 3:30 p.m. GMT. Gravitas. Seeing is believing.
The stress of our world can take a toll on our physical and emotional health. Here, in New York's Catskill Mountains, lies a luxurious place of healing called WION Wellness Center. The WION Wellness Center provides 500,000 square feet of natural methods to manage diabetes, hypertension, chronic pain, obesity, depression, anxiety, and other conditions. We use the traditions of centuries-old natural science from India, yoga, Ayurveda, acupuncture, and naturopathy in personalized programs that help you take charge of your own health. A minimum 5-day stay is recommended for best results. Book now at yo1.com.
Ready to dive into your daily dose of news?
Bringing you what's trending in the West and all that's setting trends in the East.
And all of this served up with a side of insightful banter.
We don't just bring you the latest stories.
We bring you your talking points for the day.
And while you do that, from the busy streets of New York, I will provide you with deeper insights on the developments through the course of the day in the U.S.
And I will be here at the WION headquarters, getting you all the action from the universe of sport. All that you need to know about your favorite teams and players, right here.
The show that keeps you ahead of the global curve. A conversation you'd want to be a part of.
A place where news becomes an engaging exchange.
We bring you stories that impact your present.
This is World DNA.
Join the conversation.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening. As we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch. Everyone loves a contest. But sport isn't just about victory and defeat. When the GOATs in sport speak, you hear it first on WION.
You have to play good cricket over a period of time.
I should push myself right out of the damn tournament.
We go beyond the stats. Our stories are quoted the world over.
At WION, sport is part of our DNA. Come, join us on this journey. Weekdays 6:30 p.m. IST, 1 p.m. GMT.
The Earth is sending distress signals. wildfires, droughts, and melting glaciers. Can we reverse the damage? Explore the harrowing effects of climate change. It's a wake-up call. Global emergency. Climate Tracker on WION World is One.
WION, India's global voice. The channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION, World is One.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening. As we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
To bring the benefits of the Subhash Chandra Show to your educational institution, teachers and students, send an invitation to Juhi Jha at juhi@such.org.in.
Hello and welcome. Thanks for tuning into WION World is One. You're watching Race to Power with me and Anya Datta. But before we start with the broadcast, some breaking news coming in from West Asia. Israeli media claims that the IDF has killed another Hezbollah commander in its latest airstrike on southern suburbs of Beirut. Israel claims the Hezbollah commander, identified as Ibrahim Kubesi, was leading figure in the rocket division. The attack, in which 6 people have been reportedly killed, has dealt another blow to the Iran-backed group, which has faced a series of setbacks at the hands of Israel over the past week. Israel says it has struck the Hezbollah-controlled area of the Lebanese capital for a second consecutive day after mounting a new wave of airstrikes on targets in Lebanon. The airstrike comes hours after Israeli military announced dozens of strikes on Hezbollah strongholds across Lebanon. The Lebanese government claims that Israeli strikes have killed 554 people so far, including 50 children and 94 women, amid increasing Israeli airstrikes on East and South Lebanon and Beirut's southern suburbs. Specifically, Lebanon has extended the closure of all educational institutions until the end of this week. Now, this development comes as US President Joe Biden is addressing the United Nations for one last time as the President of America. And during his speech, is expected to speak about what's going on in Israel and especially the plight of the Palestinians and Lebanon. Another reaction coming in from UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer. The British Prime Minister has called for restraint and quote-unquote de-escalation on the border between Lebanon and Israel as Israel struck the Hezbollah-controlled areas of the Lebanese capital for a second consecutive days, visuals of which we are showing you on your screens as we speak. We can also